Hi everybody, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. Thanks for being here today. I know if you've read the title to this video, you're going to be coming here to hear us talk about estrangement and estrangement of adult children and other members in your family, and I welcome you here. I know this is a difficult topic and a hard one for a lot of people to even think about, but I felt it was time. We've done a couple of articles on this subject, and Christine Field, one of our bloggers, has written several articles. I encourage you to read them. She's been through this herself, so she actually understands and has a very practical and real view of it. I mean, she's been through the whole spectrum of emotion related to this. So if you are a mom or a woman who is estranged from her adult children, from a partner, from a family member or a friend, this conversation hopefully will help you. And I'd love to encourage you from the very beginning to actually leave your comments below. I would say don't leave too much personal detail because, if somebody else was to read it and you would regret being so open about it. This is, our website is an open platform, so I just want to make that clear that I welcome your comments, absolutely. But just be aware, names and specifics are probably not a good idea. But anyway, Christine wrote this article and she said that the first one she wrote about estrangement received such an incredible amount of feedback that she felt like she was just, had touched a raw nerve for millions of people. And apparently the article was published around Mother's Day, so it kind of magnified even in a more deeper way the challenge that she was facing estranged from her children. And I think that, like I said before, that one of the things that so many people said in the comments last time was, "I'm not alone. This makes me feel so much better to know that I'm not alone." And I think that's one of the things to put in your heart right now, that you got friends here, people that care about you. I think the big challenge is, of course, that there's often, complexity. There's complexity in relationships and family, and I think that that's one thing that I think we always have to be aware of, that no story is going to be simple. And there's always, of course, 2 or 3 or more sides to every story. But I think that as Christine talks about, the biggest challenge is the leap or the transformation from what she calls the magic years, when regardless of how hard life was as a mom, or how many challenges you had personally, or your own shortcomings or whatever, those magic years were when the kids were young and you were trying your best and you thought you were doing your best. You really truly did, to what she calls the tragic years, where estrangement can be such a shock. Now, Christine was a practicing attorney, so she actually had a lot of experience with the dark side of life, what people are capable of, and did a lot of investigation because of her own situation. I think she's written a book about it now too. Christine Field is her name, and basically looking at what people are capable of doing in relationships, and understanding the depth of emotion. She said a lot of people who were caught up in this estrangement situation did not have good models at home themselves. So if you go back even one more generation, you find that a lot of women who didn't have such a lot of capability, or just didn't feel they were doing the best they could as a mom, didn't have a good relationship themselves, and so they didn't have anything to build on. So the only reason I'm saying these things is there's always a reason. There's always, I know we had several young people. We had some children, adults, not children, but adults who had left home, and they said, please take our ideas into consideration, that it was a difficult situation, that we just couldn't take it anymore. And it's never black and white, and I don't want to put blame anywhere. I just want to just talk about complexity, and that you'll be kind with yourself if you made mistakes, and that you'll be understanding at some level if there's a separation that you just don't know why. And sometimes there is no why. Sometimes there's issues of mental health and stress and other personal shortcomings that create challenges. Anyway, but it's, your children are, if they're adults, are making their own decisions, and I think there's a certain point that we have to let that go. So how do you let go? This is what Christine's article, I'm going to put the link to this article too, because it's a different one than the other. What can you do to actually let go? So I think that she says the solution is in taking control of the situation, taking ownership of your anger, of your of the emotions and putting it into a positive light. I know this is hard, and sometimes it's going to take counseling. Sometimes it's going to take talking to someone. But say things like, "I acknowledge my anger. I acknowledge I'm angry. I acknowledge my despair. I acknowledge my frustration," and then just take that in and say, "Okay, let it go." Time is a healer, and we know that for sure. And Christine talks about this more than ever in her own situation. She went into retreats and did special workshops and all kinds of things for herself. And she said she never ever really healed from it. It's still a daily sore. It just never gets better. Children, but as she says, children took the choice to be away from her, and now she's got to actually accept that and embrace it. And say, I acknowledge my anger, I acknowledge my fear, my frustration, my sadness, but I'm moving forward. And then maybe in letting that go, you fill a space in yourself to do something that you love. I think that's really the challenge, is finding a way to know that you did your best, that there's really now a moment of reckoning that you've got to accept and let your children, partner, friend go forward with their life. And heal. Children, grandchildren, it's a huge topic, and I really, this breaks my heart actually when I hear grandparents talking about, especially like if you have a son marries a woman who for whatever reason does not want you to be near her children, or there's a lot of maybe jealousy or anger or whatever. You've got to somehow accept that was his choice. That's his wife. And also the other way around. I mean, it can be a partner in a marriage that creates the anxiety between you and your child. But that's honestly your child's decision, son or daughter. If you're cut off from your from your grandchildren, then again, you can do. I mean, there are some things you can do to stay in touch. You can send cards. You can obviously send money if you want to do that to the grandchildren, not necessarily to the adult children, but and just maybe send them cards or just let them know that they're in your life, because things do change. Trust me, if those children are 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 10, they're going to be 20 one day, and that if you've played a part in their lives and they know that you're there, they'll make their own decisions, and I think that's the thing. But the pain doesn't stop. So as the parents of estranged children, read this article by Christine, because I think that she'll help you to deal with it maybe in a time that kind of, walks along with others. And if there's women in this group that, that you feel related, or you can relate to their story, give them some hugs, give them some support, because I know this is a difficult topic for everybody to listen to. But don't waste your time on earth with bitterness and sadness. That's Christine's message. Just do not waste your time with bitterness for your physical and emotional health. You've got a short life. Our lives are short. We have got a short time to accept this, to embrace the decisions of our children and our friends and family, and move forward. There's nothing you can do. Once they've made that decision, you can, leave the door open. I mean, I know I mentioned that last time. I said, leave the door open, send Christmas cards, and many people said, I won't do that. I just will never, I don't want to be hurt anymore. I can't stand the rejection. And I think when it gets to that point, you've really got to do that. You've got to let it go. So I think the bottom line here is that our adult children have their own lives to live. We raised them, we gave them a life, we gave them birth. And now they have their own story to tell. They have their own book to write. And, they never give up, never stop showing up, never stop. That may not be the right solution for you. I think if it is possible to do that, it's always a good idea, because the wound may have been triggered by something that they don't even remember, or you don't even remember. Family separations, family arguments, when you go back to like what caused the estrangement, you often do find like a trigger, a moment that like it was that afternoon, that event, that wedding, that party, that whatever. And, just sending them your love, even invisibly, I think is about the best that you can do. But I think that, as Christine says, you've got to own up to your feelings, embrace and just embrace it, and accept your anger or your frustration and pain, and then just say, okay, I got to get on with this. I've got to move forward with my life. And maybe in all of that, something will turn around. You never know. But I'd love to know your story. I mean, how are you coming to grips with your estrangement in your family? Not just your children, but in your family in general. How are you dealing with the estrangement? How are you doing? If you need a hug, let us know. We've got free hugs, and it's a really wonderful group of people here, women who understand you. So we're here for each other. So thank you again for being here, for your support, and for your support of each other, and your support of yourself. You've got to love yourself and just forgive yourself for any mistakes you might have made or anything that you might have said that you regret. You've got to love yourself. You're not perfect. You're broken, just like everybody is broken. We've got to get through this together. Okay, everybody, well, have a really wonderful day. We're here by your side. Have a really fantastic rest of your day, and take care of yourself. Lots of love.